Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to take the source material you provide, all those exhaustive guides, complex blueprints, your late-night testing notes, and really just distill it into pure, actionable knowledge.
This isn't about casual exploration.
Not at all.
We're looking at a blueprint designed for one thing. We're talking champion spawns.
Right, and the source material is for a very specific, almost legendary template. It's called the Wraith Healer.
Wraith Healer, it sounds like a complete contradiction, doesn't it?
It really does. A Wraith that heals. How does that work?
Well, that's the thing. It's this whole system that's engineered for just relentless longevity and powerful utility. And the key part, the most important thing, is that it does all of this without a pet. You have to micromanage.
So that's our mission today. We're unpacking how this thing actually works. I think the core takeaway right up front is that it's not about raw power, it's about resource stability.
Precisely. It's about how you, the player, can maintain a practically endless supply of mana while you're also stacking up all these defensive layers and rapid self-healing. Your hit points almost become an afterthought.
An engine of regeneration.
Exactly, an engine built on leeching.
Okay, so let's pop the hood. Let's get into this engine room. We have to start with the skills, and this is super specific. The build needs 6 skills, all capped at 120. Why these 6?
It all comes down to calculated synergy. First, you need 120 spell weaving. That's a no-brainer. It gives you max spell damage, access to things like Word of Death.
Standard caster stuff.
Right. You also need 120 Magery itself. And you pair that with 120 evaluating intelligence. And then the healer part kicks in. You need 120 anatomy and 120 healing.
Hold on, let's pause there. Anatomy. I mean, we always think of anatomy as a fighter's skill, right? To boost weapon damage.
Exactly. And that's the genius of this build. It completely repurposes it. Here, anatomy is a core piece of your survival. It gives you the maximum healing bonus from your bandages.
So it's not for offense at all, it's purely for defense and recovery.
A remarkable bit of engineering. Every single piece damage, casting, recovery, is pushed to its absolute limit because these skills all feed into each other.
Okay, let's talk about the heart of it all. The sources call it the mana loop. The key seems to be Spirit Speak at 120. What's the mechanism there? How does it keep you from running dry?
Spirit Speak is the engine. When you're in Wraith form, which is the default stance for this build, having 120 Spirit Speak gives you a massive 24% mana leech.
24%.
Yeah. So every time you cast an offensive spell, especially an area effect spell that hits, 5, 10, 20 enemies, your mana bar just shoots right back up. You're literally pulling energy out of the fight.
And there's a secondary function too, right? A deep dive nugget.
This is the life raft. It's what saves you. You can activate Spirit Speak manually for an auto self-heal. And the critical part, the part that everyone misses, is that this heal works even when you are poisoned.
Oh, that's huge.
It's everything. I've seen so many powerful characters just crumble because they get hit with a high-level poison, their normal healing is shut down, and that's it. Game over. This Spirit Speak heal bypasses that completely. It has to be your panic button.
Which brings us to a puzzle. You need Wraith form for the leech, but the build has, 0 points in necromancy? How do you even cast the spell?
This is a masterstroke of optimization. You must be a human.
The racial choice is mandatory.
It is. Being human gives you 20 passive points in every skill, and that includes necromancy. That 20 skill is just enough to let you cast Wraith form from a scroll.
So you're saving 120 skill points by just picking the right race and carrying some scrolls.
Exactly. And you get a little bonus too.
Like,
humans get a passive +2 hit point regeneration, which just adds another tiny layer to your survivability.
Let's talk stats then. We're aiming for 260 total, using scrolls. But the priority here is weird. The sources say to prioritize dexterity over intelligence. For a pure caster, that feels wrong.
It is a compromise, but it's a calculated one. Look, your mana is already handled. The 24% leech and the 100 mana leech you need on your gear takes care of it. So maxing out intelligence is nice, but it's not essential.
So what makes dexterity so critical?
You have to hit 90 dexterity, minimum.
Why that specific number? What if you're at 89?
Because 90 dex is the magic number, the exact threshold in this system that cuts your self-bandage timer from 4 seconds down to 2.
It cuts it in half.
In half.
Yeah.
If you miss that, you are doubling your vulnerability window every single time you need to heal. And 4 seconds in a champion spawn is a death sentence. 2 seconds you can manage. So you date 90 dex first, then you worry about getting your strength up for more hit points.
So the speed of recovery is more important than the raw power of the spell?
Always. The system has to be responsive.
Okay, we've built the engine. Endless mana, fast healing. Now, the defensive engineering. How does this Wraith healer not just get completely swarmed and overwhelmed?
It's all about layers. And two of our main skills pull double duty here. It starts with something called passive wrestling.
You're not actually training the wrestling skill, though.
Not a single point. Your defensive wrestling skill is derived from a formula. It's your evaluating intelligence plus your anatomy plus 20, and then you divide the whole thing by 2.
So wait, you're getting a massive free defensive skill just for being smart and knowing your anatomy?
Exactly right. If that formula gets you to 120, you gain defensive wrestling. You get a huge chance to just block or deflect incoming melee attacks. You can't use the special moves like disarm, but you get the most important part for free.
And what about gear? What supplements that?
Layer 2 is gear. You have to max out your defense chance increase, your DCI, at 45. That's basically your evasion. It lowers the chance anyone can even hit you in the first place.
Pure prevention.
Pure prevention. And on top of that, you stack what are called damage eaters. It's a property on armor that converts some of the damage you take back into healing. It's literally turning their attacks into more sustainer for you.
So we've got the 2-second bandage timer from our dexterity. How does that fit into the active strategy?
That timer demands automation. You should have an auto bandage script running constantly that covers your physical hits. But right alongside it, that Spirit Speak self-heal, the one that works through poison, that needs to be on a keybind. That's your emergency failsafe.
And what's the escape hatch when everything goes wrong?
Every good build has an exit strategy. You need 2 more keybinds ready to go. One for greater heal, targeted on yourself for a huge burst of health, and one for invisibility.
To drop aggro.
Exactly. Break their focus, reposition, let your passive regen catch up, and then get back in the fight.
Let's pivot to the offense. This thing can't just be a bunker. It has to clear the spawns. What does the offensive blueprint look like?
It's about control first, then damage. And before you even think about fighting, you have to cast Arcane Circle. You need that Spellweaver's Arcane Crystal. Without it, you're not getting maximum power from your spells.
And the skill mastery choice is key here.
It is. You focus on spellweaving masteries. First, you cast Mana Shield. It's another layer of protection that uses your massive mana pool to absorb damage instead of your health. Then you use Summon Reaper.
And the Weeper is the cornerstone of controlling the fight.
It's the anchor. The Summon Reaper is a force-locked creature, so it takes up most of your follower slots. But it's a stationary tank. You tell it to guard a spot, and it just holds the line, pumping out its own area effect damage. Creates a safe zone for you to cast from.
What if a Reaper isn't the right tool for the job?
You have options, but you have to watch your follower slots. You can summon 2 energy vortexes, which are 2 slot each, or even a swarm of 1-slot Fae or Fiends, but you have to be careful.
You can't have a Reaper and a Vortex at the same time.
Right. A 4-slot and a 2-slot would exceed your 5 follower slots. You can't do it.
So let's walk through the multi-target rotation. How do you clear a room full of monsters?
The sequence is always the same. First, Arcane Empowerment. That buffs your spell damage and your summon's power. Second, Summon Reaper. Place it where you want the enemies to gather. Third, you go into AoE spam.
What smells are we using?
You're relying on Thunderstorm for its great range and Wildfire for close quarters. And here's the beauty of it. You're casting all of this while in Wraith form. So every single enemy you hit is feeding that 24% mana leech.
So your AoE isn't just for damage, it's your main mana regen tool.
It's a dual purpose system. Now for the big bosses, the single target fights, things change a bit.
How so?
Same setup. Arcane Empowerment, get a summon out to tank. But your big finisher for spell weaving is Word of Death. You want to use that when the boss is down to about 1/3 of its health. It delivers a massive final punch.
The sources also mention a tactical alternative, right, for creatures with specific resistances.
Yes, the build is flexible. You can swap your skill mastery over to Magery. This gives you access to Death Ray.
A channeled beam of energy.
Right. It's continuous damage that only stops if you get interrupted or run out of mana. And here's the crucial bit. Death Ray is boosted by your Evil Int, by your spell damage increase gear, and by Slayer's spellbooks.
And that's the key distinction. Slayers don't affect spell weaving spells, but they give a massive boost to that Magery Death Ray.
Precisely. It gives you a high-powered, focused damage option for a really tough target.
We've got the sustain, the defense, the offense. Let's talk about the utility, the hidden levers that really push the build over the top.
This is where having 120 evaluating intelligence pays off again, beyond just damage. Because it's maxed out, your basic utility spells like Bless and Curse have a stronger effect and a much, much longer duration.
So how are you using those tactically?
You should be casting Curse on the boss every single minute. It weakens their stats, making them hit softer and easier to damage. And conversely, you use Bless on yourself to boost your own stats.
And what about Poison Field? That's a spell most people ignore.
It has a very important niche here. For any boss that isn't immune, you use it. It puts constant pressure on their health, but more importantly, it can prevent them from healing or regenerating. It's a recovery lockdown.
Okay, finally, let's nail down the gear requirements. What are the absolute non-negotiables?
Speed. It's all about speed. You must, and I mean must, have the cap for faster casting, which is 4, and fast cast recovery, which is 6. FCR 6 is the absolute cap. It means 0 delay between your spells. If you try to run this build without FCR 6, you will be interrupted constantly. You will die.
Speed is survival.
Your ring and bracelet are key. You need them to have high stats, plus 18 spell damage increase and FCR. And again, if you swap to that major rotation for a boss, you need to have the correct Slayer spellbook equipped to maximize your damage.
So to wrap this whole deep dive up, the success formula for the Wraith healer is it's really precise. It's that 2-second bandage timer, the constant 24% mana leech, the passive blocking from wrestling, and that stationary Reaper controlling the fight.
It really is a perfectly balanced engine of self-sustain. But for me, the most impressive thing isn't just one piece of it. It's the synergy. It's how every skill is doing more than one job.
Like anatomy.
Exactly. Think about anatomy again. A skill that's supposed to be for fighters is repurposed for passive defense and faster healing. Every single skill point is leveraged for multiple benefits. It's just so efficient.
It's all about engineering a system where the components serve multiple functions.